In just a minute. If you can see the screen and you can hear my voice, please say so in the Q&A box to let us know that you are here. And special guest, Mr. Ty, are you here?
Yes, I am. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, good. So I see everybody's here. Jane, Udi, AJ, Tim, Rob, Ivan, Jay, Steve, Rick, Nilda. All right. So we got a ton of people here, and this was definitely one of the more popular, I should say popular, not populated, popular webinars that we've offered this year. So this is exciting. I'm excited because I think we're going to learn some really great stuff. And I'm excited to have Ty here. Everybody's coming in. I know we want to be respectful of everybody's time. So we'll say hi for another minute or so, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I see Marcy's here from Minneapolis. Just tell us where you're calling in from, where you're tuning in from, or listening from, or watching from. It'd be cool. I always like to see. Jillian in the United Kingdom. We got Judy in Dover, El Paso, Worcester, Mass. Northern Ontario, New York, Minnesota, a bunch of California people, Charlottesville, Beaver, PA, Karen in Cumbria, UK, New Jersey, Cleveland. All right, Las Vegas, Kitty in Richmond, just up the road from me. Hey, Ty, by the way, I'm going to be in Atlanta on Friday, just so you know.
That's the other guy.
You don't live in Atlanta?
I'm in North Carolina.
I thought you and Greg lived like right down the street from, didn't you used to live in Atlanta?
No, never. I thought about moving to Atlanta a couple of times, but no.
Oh,
Maybe
okay.
maybe you were just picking up on
Where are you in North Carolina?
my positive vibes. I'm actually in a little town called Garner, which is right outside of Raleigh.
Oh, well then you're like really close to me. You and I could like actually get together. Like
Yeah.
he's like, yeah.
No,
I don't
no,
need
no,
any new friends, Jim.
I meant, yeah. Yeah, you know, Arnold, Armand and I have gotten together every once, not too often. Actually, I just met him. I bumped into him at our we have like this annual state fair. We just
Uh-huh.
bumped into each other there, and then his daughter had.
He's shorter than you thought he'd be, wasn't he?
Oh, he looks about that size in this online.
Anyway, this could really digress quickly. Let me I'm going to be in Atlanta tomorrow. I thought you lived in Atlanta. I thought you and Greg hung out all the time in Atlanta. I don't know why I thought that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, um, okay. Well, now my mind's blown, but I can recover. I was joking because I'm gonna be in Atlanta for like an hour and 45 minutes at the airport,
Oh,
switching.
nice.
That was like a setup. Oh, really, dude? You could come over to my house? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna be at the airport. So I just totally blew that joke. Anyway, let's do a little countdown. And I had no idea you lived that close to me, so we'll have to get together in 2017. You have to come up, or I'll come down, or we'll do something.
Yeah, definitely. And
Um,
my daughter goes to school up in Chowan, which is even closer to you. Chowan,
oh wow.
Murfreesboro, North Carolina. So,
Okay,
yeah.
that's just over the border.
Yeah, we're always up there, so.
All right. Okay, so back to topic. So three, two, one. Hey, everybody, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm Jim Edwards, your host, and we've got a really exciting training for you today. The young man who is going to be training us, and I can call him young because he's at least a couple of years younger than me, and I've learned, and I'm about to turn 49 years old, that 10 years older is older. So now if you're just 10 years older, anybody 10 years older than me is older, so I'm still young. So I can call Ty a young man because I'm a young man too. And I've known Ty for over 10 years now. And he has been, as a bit, it's more than 10, isn't it? It's a long time.
Yeah, you know what? It's been about 13. My son is gonna be 13. I think we met the year that he was born. So
Okay.
it's about 13 years.
Okay. Well, the cool thing is that Ty has always been doing really neat stuff with Amazon. He's always been on the cutting edge with Amazon. Back when we were talking, I was living in my little white house, had just gotten out of the trailer park, and Ty was selling his own books and courses and stuff on Amazon, which 13 years ago was totally cutting edge. He's always been the guy who's been figuring out how to leverage the hundreds of millions of people that use Amazon, that go to Amazon, that buy from Amazon, and he's always been one step ahead of everybody else, and that's the absolute fact. And that's why I'm excited to have him here with us today, because he has really taken Amazon Kindle beyond just, hey, let's publish an ebook on Amazon, and he's turned it into a business model that you can use and profit from no matter what you're doing. And he definitely knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a long time too. He's not one of these guys who discovered Amazon like 6 months ago, got lucky, and then said, oh, let me teach everybody a course on Amazon. He's been doing this a long, long time. So with no further ado, I would like to introduce you to my friend Ty Cohen, who is going to take you on an amazing ride and show you all the cool stuff that you can do with Amazon Kindle and building a recurring revenue stream. So take it away, Ty.
Absolutely, Jim. I'm happy to be here. I think the last time we actually met in person or saw each other in person, was it this past year on Marketers Cruise?
It was 2 years ago on the Marketers Cruise.
2 years ago. Okay, so you didn't go this year.
I
Are you
didn't
going
go
this
last
coming
year. So it's been a couple of years.
There we go. All right, so I am excited, folks. And you know, this is one of the things that I truly get excited about. My wife says I have one of these cavalier approaches to life, and my voice and my attitude is to the point where she can never tell when I'm excited about something or when I'm pissed off about something, which I guess is pretty dangerous, right? But I always get excited about Amazon publishing. So if you can't hear the excitement in my voice, trust me, it is there, right? Especially when I'm talking to a group like the group that's here right now. So what we're going to talk about is how to partner with Amazon to create an instant stream of monthly recurring revenue without having to personally do all of the hard work, right? So let's jump right into this. I want to ask you a couple of questions before we begin, because the way that you answer these questions will help me to better give you the best amount of content that I can. So the first question is, have you ever published a Kindle book before? So have you ever published a Kindle ebook before? And just give me a yes or a no in that questions box. And while I'm waiting for the answers to come in, I want to remind you that that questions box is where you should go in. If I cover anything and I go too fast, or if it's not totally clear, I want you to use that questions box to say, hey, Ty, can you go into a little bit more detail on that? Or what does this mean? I'm a big believer, right? And the fact that there's no such thing as a dumb question. So there's no such thing as a dumb question. So you can ask your questions there. So we've got some yeses, some nos coming in. Let's see. Yes, yes, yes. Kitty says yes. Stephanie says yes. Mark says no. Marcy, no. Jeffrey, no. Not yet, says Eduardo. So fact or fiction. So we've got about half that have published and half that have not published. If you have published, have you published fact or fiction? So just give me fact or fiction here. And this is going to be, oh, Bill says he's published a Trump book. That's awesome. You know, I was actually thinking about publishing something along that line as well. Awesome way to capitalize off of that trend, right? Whether you love them or hate them, there's people that are going to buy that book. So that's awesome. Good idea, Bill. Let's see what else. So genre. What genre have you published? All right, tell me, are you publishing children's books, mystery thrillers, self-help, dog training, says Jeff, fiction kids books, says Steve. Let's see. If I were to publish, it would be fact, says Marcy. Nonfiction, sci-fi, says Rhonda. Okay, great. Now, tell me, have you written these books yourself, or have you outsourced them? And even if you have yet to publish, I'm always interested in hearing this. Will you write the book that you're going to publish yourself, or will you outsource it? And there's no right or wrong with any of this stuff. Again, it just helps me to better serve you during this webinar here. So let's see. What do we have here? We have, will write it myself, says Stephen. I would write it myself, says Marcy. Both, says Mary. Yeah, that's pretty much where I started, Mary. Both, says Guy. Self. I would outsource, says Chris. That's where I'm at right now, Chris. I primarily outsource. I will write with input from others, says Denise. Write it myself, says Jen. 70% outsource and 30% self, says Rob. Rob has it all figured out. Okay, awesome. All right, thank you for that input, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Let's rock and roll. So my promise to you is to give you all of the information that you need in order to research, write, and publish a series of best-selling Kindle books to generate massive passive income just days from right now. So let me show you proof of this. This is one of my students. He's actually a professor up at Penn State in Pennsylvania, and his name is Brian, and he sent me this text message one morning. He says, Ty, I wanted to update you since I've been doing a lot more of what I suggested, and I talk about that in this program. My Kindle business has more than doubled this month, and this will be my first $5,000 month. I want to thank you for all of your guidance and inspiration. My goal is set on getting to the $10,000 per month level by June 1st, and he has reached that. So he has reached that. This is where I get a lot of my inspiration from, is from the testimonials that I get by text and by Facebook message and by email and by Skype. Here's another one from one of my students. Her name is Tracy Royster, and she sent me this text message. As you can see, it's here on my fancy Apple Watch, and she says, Ty, my ebook has sold 5 copies this week. Now you might be thinking 5 copies, nothing to write home about, but here's why I put this up here. She had just started with my system 3 days prior to sending me this. Okay, so she had just started with my system. Now, some people, if they don't know how to publish correctly, selling 5 books in a month is kind of a challenge for them. But since she took what I gave her and she implemented it, right? That's the key, is implementation. She was able to get up and running quickly. Okay. Here's another testimonial. This will be the last one I show you before we dive into this stuff. This is from one of my students, Darren DeVry, who's actually 66 years old. I love this guy right here. We talk by Skype. We talk by Facebook every once in a while. He's in Perth, Australia, and he sent me he actually sent me this on Skype as a Skype message, and he says, Ty, over the last year, I've continued to follow the Kindle cash flow system, and I'm now doing $20,000 per month in sales. All right, 66 years old, Perth, Australia. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter if you're male or female. And it does not matter what pocket of the planet you live on. You can do this no matter what country you live in. Right now, you are at ground level of what is being called a new age diamond mine. And I want to show you just some of the money that I've been able to make just playing around with publishing ebooks before I actually started to take this serious and created a streamlined system for doing so. All right. Now, here's one of the first checks that I got. It was in the amount of $2,297.30. Now, at this time, when I first got this check, even though it was $2,000 something, right, I didn't really take it serious. That's because I was playing around with it. Now, I want to make this a very interactive webinar. I want to make this something where we're talking to each other. I'm not just talking to you, but you're also talking back to me in a way. How many people can relate to what I'm about to tell you? When I first started publishing, when I got that first check in the amount of $2,200 and something, the light bulb didn't go off because I was literally all over the place. I had shiny object syndrome to like the 10th degree, right? I was just trying to do too much, and everything looked fascinating to me, and I pretty much was overwhelmed with a lot. And I was stretching myself too thin. How many people can relate to that right now? How many people, okay, I totally feel like I'm all over the place. Yes, yep, me, yes, I can relate, yeah. Right, so, totally. So here, I'm going to deviate from this a little bit, right, from this structured presentation, if you guys don't mind, just to share some things with you and some of the things that have helped me, not only with Kindle publishing, but with business in general. And because Jim is a good friend, I hope he doesn't mind either. But one of the first things that I'm going to share with you that worked for me very well was to stop, focus, and execute. Right? I had to stop. I had to stop chasing everything. I had to get to the point where, I said, Ty, I'm going to deal with 2 or 3 or 4 things at max. right? And then the other thing is I had to get to the point where I had to stop playing with myself, and I said, I'm going to really focus on these 2 or 3 or 4 things. And then I had to get to the point where I said, okay, so I'm focused. Now I need to really execute, because execution is key with almost everything, right? So I hope that right there alone will help you. So again, one of the first checks in the amount of $2,297.30. And then the next month, okay, at this point, remember, I didn't do anything differently in my Kindle publishing account because I wasn't there. I was chasing everything else. I was just chasing rabbit holes left and right. But still, the next month I saw an increase of 25%, and that check was in the amount of $2,873.13. Okay, now at this point, when I got this check, I said, you know what, there must be something to this, because I didn't really put much effort into it. I didn't really publish many books, but I saw an increase. So at this point, I said, I'm going to start publishing a few more books. And then the next month, I went to $4,462.53. And then at this point, this is when I said, okay, I have to now start doing things like split testing and testing different titles and covers and price points. And I started doing a lot of that stuff. And I went from $4,462.53 to bam, $8,403.84, right? And then, okay, continued publishing more books, right? Because the key is in publishing multiple books. And then shortly after, right, a year plus after, got to the point where I'm generating $30,000 a month in royalties. Now I'm at the point where I'm doing $45,000 consistently a month, right? And it's literally changed my life. It's literally changed my life from the point that me and Jim first met, because I was doing okay then, but this totally changed things for me. Now, I want to show you how I've done that. And to bribe you a bit, right? As if you really needed to be bribed, because I know that Jim's audience is one that really is, you guys are learners. You wanna find information that works and then go in and take it and apply it on your own. But to bribe you a bit, when you stay until the end, you'll see a niche that my daughter started publishing to at 13. At 13, and has been able to grow that to $5,000 a month. Okay? $5,000 a month. You'll see that niche. Now, as Jim said earlier, my name is Ty. I actually got started way before Kindle publishing with a program that Amazon had, and they still have that same program to this day, called the Amazon Advantage program, where I was generating 6 figures with this program. And because I was doing so well with it, this is a program where you sell physical books, and because I was doing so well with it, they invited me to become a KDP beta tester, right? So I did that. I was a little bit skeptical, and I said, you know, who's going to buy digital books? Who's going to want to spend money buying digital books online when they could just go to their local bookstore and pick up a physical book, right? Or have Amazon ship a physical book. Boy, was I wrong. And this is one of the few times where I was actually happy to be wrong. Okay, I'm now known as the king of Amazon Kindle publishing. I've spent years running tests to discover things like what works and what doesn't work. Things like price points, right? Topics, covers, how to start and profit fast. I've made millions with Amazon. I have hundreds of extremely successful students literally around the planet. I've taught dozens of 7- and 8-figure online marketing gurus and experts my system. I've taught their families this stuff, right? A lot of these guys have said, can you teach my wife, my children? And most importantly, I've taught my family how to make a killing using this system. As I just shared with you earlier, my daughter Maya is doing extremely well with this. And now I'm going to show you exactly how to do it as well. Okay, so I started out with very humble beginnings. Actually, I started out working as a clerk at Walgreens Pharmacy. Right? How many people are familiar with Walgreens Pharmacy? So there's nothing special about me. Okay, if I can do this, you can do this. And I want to give you a little bit of an earnings disclaimer before we start, because I want this to be a totally transparent presentation. I want us to, you know, just lay everything out on the line, both you and I. And I say that to say that you most likely will not make thousands and thousands of dollars from the first ebook that you publish. I bet you wasn't expecting to hear that, right? But again, I want to be totally transparent with you. I hate when you get on some of these webinars and guys say, you know, you can make $1 gazillion in 6 days. That's not going to happen. You can, all right, build a very nice income stream. if you do it the right way, in the way that I teach you in just a couple of minutes. Now, when I first got started, my goal was just to literally just make a couple of $100 a month, just enough to be able to cover a few bills. The last thing that I want to share with you before I jump into this is that this is a long-lasting business model that you can consistently generate income from for many, many, many years. As long as you build this business on the concrete and not on the sand. By that I mean you do it in a way that's going to be on up and up. You do it in a way where you provide value, and you do it in a way where Amazon loves what you're publishing. And in return, your customers will love what you're publishing. And they'll reward you by continuously buying from you, by leaving you positive reviews, and by telling other people about your material. All right, so does that make sense? Very straightforward stuff. So now, are you ready to discover the 3 secrets to publishing best-selling Kindle books on Amazon? And they are: secret number 1, how to come up with a best-selling book idea in 3 minutes, even if you've never done anything like this before. Usually, this is the most challenging part for people here. If you have yet to write your book, this is probably, I'm guessing, one of the challenges. You just don't know what to write about, right? How many people can relate to that? Is that where you're having issues? You just don't know what to write about, and you don't know if people will actually buy it. Yes, says Jillian. Yes, says Tony. Cheryl says, I appreciate the transparency. Absolutely, Cheryl. That's what I'm here for. Susie says yes. Wardell says yes. Steven says yes. I see a few familiar names here as well. The second secret that I'm going to share with you is I'm going to show you 3 ways to get your ebooks created super fast, even if you hate writing. Okay, even if you hate writing. Now, I know we have some writers here. My wife is a writer. She's passionate about it. My best friend loves writing. I am not a writer. I actually am not the best at writing, okay? But that still does not limit me from making tens and tens of thousands of dollars a month with this stuff, okay? So whether you hate writing or whether you love it, you have an awesome shot at this. Okay, so I'll show you the 3 ways to get your ebooks created super fast, and one of them does not even, actually, you know what? 2 of them doesn't even involve you writing the darn thing, all right? So secret number 3, I'll show you how to publish and launch your Kindle ebooks quickly and easily so that you can start making sales. Okay, so let's jump into this. So secret number 1, how to come up with a best-selling book idea in 3 minutes, even if you've never done anything like this before. Now, what I use for this process, one of the tools, there's a few of them, but I'm just going to show you one right now during this webinar, is the Google Keyword Planner. All right, I use the Google Keyword Planner to find a best-selling book idea and then come up with a killer title, literally in just minutes. So let me show you exactly how that's done. So if you go over to Google and you type in Google Keyword Planner, you hit search, okay, you're going to see a control panel that looks a little bit like this. They change it up from time to time, but for the most part, it functions the same, okay? So if what you see is a bit different, don't panic. This drop down here that says search for new keywords using a phrase, website, or category, that's where you want to be. Here, this is where you're going to put your idea, your keyword, the phrase that you're considering publishing an ebook around. So for me, at this point, I was studying lucid dreaming. And, lucid dreaming is, how many people are familiar with lucid dreaming here? I'm just curious here. All right, so lucid dreaming is you being able to go in and in a nutshell, control your dreams, right? Be aware and cognitive of what's happening. Okay, while you're dreaming. So a lot of people, wow, awesome. So I was studying lucid dreaming at this time, so I said, wow, it would be pretty interesting to go in and publish a couple of books on dreams. So I put in the phrase dreams interpretation, and then I hit get ideas. Okay. You're also going to select all locations, all languages, Google and search partners, and then hit get ideas. Now, Google will tell you that for your phrase that you entered here, dreams interpretation, these are similar phrases that people are searching for. And the beautiful thing about this is where the beauty is, so pay attention. They will also tell you how many people are searching for those similar phrases every month. So here, meaning of dreams, 18,100 individuals, right? Search for that phrase. Dream meaning, 2,900 individuals search for that phrase. Dreams meaning 2,400 individuals. All right, dreams and their meanings 590 individuals. All right, search for that phrase. Now, what I found is that, and this is the honey spot here, as my folks over in the UK like to say, if your combined monthly search volume, your combined monthly search volume for all of the phrases and keywords that Google shows you is between 10,000 to 100,000, then you have a pretty good idea. You have a pretty good niche or topic that you're considering publishing around. Does that make sense? Right? Let me know. And Stephen says his audio is breaking. Can you folks still hear me pretty well? Okay, yes, yes, yes. The yeses are coming in. Awesome. All right, and does that make sense? You want to make sure that your global monthly search volume for everything that you see here, right, when you do your search combined is between 10,000 to 100,000. And Ronald, you should be watching the video. Don't try to do this, okay? I should have said that earlier, but don't try to do this on your own, folks. Watch the presentation, okay? Because if not, you're going to really miss some crucial stuff. So watch the presentation, all right? Karen, watch the presentation here. So don't try to go outside the presentation or else you're going to get lost. So just watch what I'm doing here on your screen. Right, so now, you got that. Everyone says yes. They totally understand that. The next thing that I use this area for is to come up with some awesome titles. So I use this Google Keyword Planner to also help me find titles for my ebooks. So if you look at this, The Meaning of Dreams, that's an awesome title there, right? That makes a pretty decent title there. It speaks directly to the individual that's interested in a book that talks about dreams of this sort. Dreams and Their Meanings, same thing. That's another great title. And some of these you can even add on to, right? Dreams and Their Meanings, How to Decipher Last Night's Dream. Or Dreams and Their Meanings, How to Tell what that dream that you had last night really means. So do you see how that works there? Okay, awesome. Now, I want to, you know what? Here's the other thing. Titles are going to be your first line of defense. Write that down. Your titles will be your first line of defense. The emphasis that you put on your titles will really help you to sell more ebooks. It'll help you to get people's attention. It'll help you to really get listed higher in Amazon's search rankings there. So I want you to make sure that you take note of that. And because of that, I'm actually going to put a little bit more time into titles than I normally would. Right? So one of the questions that I get is, why use the Google Keyword Planner to find titles? Well, if you craft your titles correctly, you increase the chances of them ranking high within both Amazon and Google search engines. So ranking on both Amazon and Google will dramatically boost your sales. Let's take a look at two examples of this. Right, so here's an example here. Let's say there's an ebook on Amazon titled How to Market and Sell Your Ebook. But you have someone that's on Google, that's in Google. They're searching for ways to market and sell their book. They have an ebook that they've published and they're looking to market it a bit more and get more sales in. They type in How to Market and Sell Your Ebook on Google, unaware that there's something on Amazon, and what do they see? What are these listings here at the top? Let's see who gets it first. What are the yellow shaded listings here at the top? Yes, Deborah. We will. Fiction as well. Ads, says Jillian. Sheila says ads. Paid ads, says Susie. Ads, says Deborah. Robert. Selwyn, I hope I got that right. Denise. Judy, sponsored. Bodine. Yvonne. So everyone is getting it. That's correct. Those are sponsored paid ads, right? And so typically what happens is we gloss over these, right? We don't pay much attention to them. And subconsciously we focus on the organic listings that are found here. Now, if you look at this, if you're doing a search for how to market and sell your ebook, and you come down here, what's going to stand out? Is it going to be the first one here or the second one here? The first one or the second one? Give me a 1 or a 2 there. All right, the second, all right. And then why does this second one stand out? Some people actually started answering that already. Because the stars, says Deborah, right? The rating, says Denise. What else? It's Amazon, says Berdine. Why else does this one stand out? The second one, 5 stars. The stars, says Cheryl. Yvonne says 5 stars. Judy, Amazon. Elijah says Amazon. Amazon, says Jill. Let's see, name recognition plus starred reviews. Absolutely. So there's about 5 or 6 reasons why this one stands out. We have the stars, we have the reviews, okay? It's also coming from Amazon, so total credibility. Its price point is listed, so you know what the price point is, $4.99. What else? What else do you see here that makes this stand out? There's 2 or 3 more things. It's bolded. Yes, Deborah. There's still about 2 or 3 more things here. Let's see who gets it here. Let's see. We have, it's in stock, right? Do you see that? A more complete title, says Susan. Absolutely. In stock, says Jillian, Deborah, Susie, Kevin, Bill. A good quote, says Ken. Yeah, you see this blurb here, so you can actually, you can get an idea as to what's covered here, right? What else do we have? Let's see. One more thing. Exciting copy. Yes, Donna. That's pretty cool, too. More info. There's no picture of the book cover. We're looking at this here on the right-hand side. Nelly. Oh, the category. Yes, UT. That's what I was looking for there. The category. Right? So when you properly use the Google Keyword Planner, right, and title your ebooks the correct way, you increase your chances of getting ranked on Google, which in turn increases the amount of clicks over to your book on Amazon, which in turn increases the chances that you make more sales. Does that make sense? Right? Again, I'm going to ask you if some of this stuff makes sense as I'm going through it, because I totally want to make sure that everyone is following along and that no one gets left behind before we move on, because I have a ton of stuff. Okay, yep. Yes, Susan, Jillian, Selwyn, Mark, Judy, Dennis, Denise, Shaw, Ruth, Bill. Yes, thank you, says Wardell. Jan, Eduardo, George. Totally, says George. Yep. Right, says Claudia. All right, so let's move on here. So now, use that Google Keyword Planner to find hot topics and to create titles. That's going to be one of your best friends throughout this entire process. It's very simple, but a lot of people can overcomplicate it. Super simple. Right? So, again, remember I mentioned that titles have a lot to do with the success of your book? All right? What I want to share with you is the fact that men and women have different buying habits on Amazon. Can you believe that? Yes or no? I mean, does that sound like it's totally possible? Women tend to pay more attention to the titles first, right? So, and women, ladies, back me up on this too, and tell me if this is correct or not. Women are a bit more analytical to the point where, in a good way, where they'll pay attention to the title first. That's what catches their eye, and then if the title resonates with them, then they'll go down and they'll look at the cover, and then from there they'll go in and read the description. Whereas with men, so ladies, let me know if that's correct. All right, and let's look at what we got. We have some yeses coming in. The yeses, the yep. Oh yeah, Deborah, Deborah, Susie. We got a lot of Deborahs here. Susie, Jillian, Norman, Loretta. They're all saying yes. Ruth, Denise, Teresa, Henris, is that correct? Mary Jones. All right. So, men on the other hand, right, the group that I belong to, we are a bit more visual. So we'll go in and we pay attention to the cover first without, thinking about if there's any true substance underneath that cover. And sometimes outside of book buying, that gets us in trouble sometimes, right? But so once you, and I say that, I share that with you because it's so important to know who your audience is. It's so important to know who your audience is. Who is most likely to buy your book? Are they going to be male or are they going to be female? What age group are they in? What problem are they trying to solve? That's the big one. Do they simply want to just be entertained? Right? How passionate are they about what they're about to get into? Right? So you want to know your audience. And because of that, after a while of publishing, I came up with something that really boosted my sales, and it's something called the title enhancers. And these are elements that you can add to your titles that I've seen that have actually doubled tripled and even quadrupled my sales in some cases, right? So let me share these with you really quickly. And you may want to write these down as well. So title enhancers answer the questions that your ebook buyers are asking themselves in their head. I'll say it again. Title enhancers answer the questions that your prospect, your ebook buyers are asking themselves in their head. They answer that question before the prospect even gets to consciously ask it. Okay, so I'll give you an example of that. Let's say you have two books, right? You have Learn to Stain Your Deck on the right-hand side, Learn to Stain Your Deck, and on the left-hand side you have Stain Your Deck, or you have How to Stain Your Deck Like a Professional. So How to Stain Your Deck Like a Professional on the left-hand side, and Learn to Stain Your Deck on the right-hand side. Okay. Now, let's say you have a guy by the name of Johnny, and Johnny has been promising his wife for the last year that he's going to go out and stain the deck the nice warm day that comes along. It's going to be 78 degrees this Saturday, and Johnny's wife gives him an ultimatum. She says, you know, Johnny, either you stain that deck this weekend or you're sleeping on the couch for the next 6 months. Johnny has never stained a deck before, but he knows that he can find information on how to stain a deck on Amazon. So he picks up his Kindle Fire or his iPhone or his Android phone or his tablet, and he visits his Amazon app, or he goes directly to Amazon and he types in stain a deck. And he's sweating right now because he does not want to sleep on the couch for the next 6 months. So he's saying to himself, how am I going to stain this deck? How am I going to stain this deck? How am I going to stain this deck? He comes across two titles. This one on the left, How to Stain Your Deck Like a Professional, and this one on the right, How to Stain Your Deck. Which one do you think resonates with Johnny the most? How to Stain Your Deck on the left, or the one on the right, Learn to Stain Your Deck? Let's see who gets it. So left says Elijah, Jillian says like a pro, first, professional, first says Karen, Ronald, Josh says first, Paul says first, right side says Lee, how to like a pro says Loretta, Yvonne says professional, pro says MBT, like a pro says Denise, like a pro says Angela, left says Paul, green one says Larry, like a pro says Henry's. Right side first, we've got Beverly, Norman, Sylvia, Loria, we've got Rachel, we've got Chris, we've got Laura, we've got Eric, all saying the left side, Josh, Steve, Shell, Susan, Wardell, and Stephanie again, all saying the left side as well. So if you said number one, how to stain your deck like a professional, the one on the left-hand side, give yourself a pat on the back because you, my dear, you have this figured out. And that's absolutely right, right? Because the poor guy, he doesn't want to sleep on the couch. He's asking himself, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And again, this is something that's taking place on a subconscious level. He's not even aware of it. So when he sees a book that speaks directly to him, it's answering the question, how? Yes, this is the one that he buys. And sometimes if you do this the right way, you're able to overcome price objection, right, which is a big one for people. So people will pay almost anything sometimes to overcome the issue that they're facing at that moment, right? And even with entertainment, we'll talk about some of that stuff. People will pay almost anything. You can overcome price objection if you do this stuff the right way. Okay? Right. This is the stuff that you don't see, folks. This is the stuff. Let me give you, who wants a few more title enhancers? Do you want me to give you a few more examples of this? Learn, exactly, Denise. Learn to seems like a long process. Yes, yes, yes. Bring it on. Yes. Okay. Now, here's the thing. What do we have right now? I'm going to deviate a little bit more, too, because I love this audience. I love the energy. So right now, what do we have? We have momentum. Okay, earlier during the webinar, I talked about some of the things that helped me to be really successful with online marketing and just business in general. And those things were stop, right, focus, and just execute. But one of the other things is momentum. Once you gain momentum, momentum is in your favor. So we have momentum right now in this webinar. Right? So anything that you do, take immediate action on it and maintain that momentum. And that applies especially to Kindle publishing. If you do that with Kindle publishing, don't just publish one book, but maintain that momentum. Publish one book, two books, and then another book, and take this money and keep putting it back in. Maintain that momentum. You will be kicking butt. I can't say what I want to say, but you will be kicking butt like you've never done before. Right? So I just wanted to share that with you. Again, I didn't want to deviate too much, but I really have to share what works for me, because I think if I give you this information from my personal perspective, it will resonate with you a lot more. So we had that title enhancer. Let me give you a couple more title enhancers here. Quickest way to, such as the 21 quickest ways to make money online versus something like the guide to making money on the web, right? We all want a quick solution. Fastest way to, the fastest way to get your nursing degree versus something like Health Quad's nursing guide. Okay, here's another one. Easy ways to. It's like fastest and quick, right? We always want the easy way, quick and easy ways to lose weight versus something like the slow and most difficult way to lose 2 pounds. Obviously, I'm joking here, but you guys get that, right? You get it. Tips 2. The world's best kept tips to losing weight. All right, so do you see how these things work? Does everyone have those? Before we move on, so are you ready to move on to the next? I've got a ton of great stuff that I still want to share with you. Is it cool if I move on? All right, Susie gave me the big yes, so I am going to move on. Thank you, Susie. All right, so let's go. Is this good stuff, by the way, folks? Give me a good stuff if it is. Just give me I need to make sure that I'm giving you the best of the best. Is it good? Good stuff. Yes. Okay, Bill, Rana, Jane, Deborah, we just had like 100 good stuffs fly in just now, so I appreciated that. Awesome. All right, so let's keep going here. Now, the other thing that we're going to do, right, we're going to go back to our Google Keyword Planner. Remember that. And then I like to take my title enhancers and mash them up with my idea, my subject, or the phrase that I'm considering publishing an ebook around. Right, so we have the title enhancer how to, and then we have the keyword garden. So we come up with the phrase how to garden in this example right here. We hit search. Now, here's where I'm going to test you here. So I hope you've been paying attention. Don't get nervous. We hit search, and Google says for the phrase how to garden, last month there were 45.5 million global monthly searches. Now, is that within our desired search criteria? 45.5 million. Just give me a big yes or no. And if you want to be super fancy, right, tell me where we should be. What range should we be in? No, big yes, yes, too many to be practical. No. Selwyn says top rank. I'm not sure what that means. No. Says Marcy, 10 to 20,000. By the way, 10 to 100,000, says Denise. No, says Joe. Yes, 10,000, says Beverly. No. So if you said no, if you said that this is too big, you're absolutely right. And if you said that we should be between 10,000 to 100,000, you're absolutely correct. All right. Now, luckily for us, Google also gives us similar phrases that people are searching for, and they give us that volume. So take a look at this. How to make a garden, 201,000 global monthly searches. How to design a garden, 550,000 global monthly searches. How to build a raised garden bed, right? 12,100 global monthly searches. How to plant a garden, 301,000 global monthly searches. Okay, so do you see that? Which of these four would make the best topic to publish an ebook around? And there's a few reasons why, but just tell me, is it number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4? And then I'm going to show you something amazing that you can do with that. So we've got number 3 says Sylvia, number 3 says Stephanie, number 3 says Joe, Ken, Marcia, Ruben says number 2, Lee Smith says number 3, Yvonne W says number 3, Deborah Wefferall says number 3, Norman Domick, number 3, Wardell Sims, number 3, number 2, Bill says, you know, I have no freaking clue. All right, and Robin LaRue, I love that last name too, Robin. Robin says number 3, and there's the title. Absolutely, Robin. I'm glad you picked up on that because that's what I was going to talk about next. Do you see in number 3, if you said number 3, give yourself a pat on the back as well. It's an awesome title too. How to build a raised garden bed. Number 3 is best for several reasons. Number 1, it fits within our desired search criteria of 10,000 to 100,000. Number 2, it has our title enhancer, how to. Number 3, as I think it was Darcy who just said that. Was it who said that? Robin, it was who said that. It's just a darn good title. I should have actually kept this one to myself. Don't tell my wife that I'm giving away the goods. How to build a raised garden bed. Right? How to build a raised garden bed. Look at that title. We can even add on to that. How to build a raised garden bed in a weekend. How would you add on to this? How to build a raised garden bed that your neighbors will envy. How to build a raised garden bed for Japanese tomatoes, right? How to build a raised garden bed. I got to stand up a little bit here just to, break the momentum. I'm giving you guys, I want to give you as much as possible. So let me get myself right here, just doing a little bit a stretch here. How to build a raised garden bed for under $10, says George. In less than 72 hours, says Denise. For a disabled person, Susie. Nice. In a day, Josh. In 10 easy steps, Ronald. On the cheap, Bill. All right. Awesome. Now, let me ask you a question here. Pretty practical question. If you had 12,000 individuals, right, that were searching for specific information on how to build, not only how to build a garden bed, but a raised garden bed. If you had 12,000 people who were searching for that a month, do you think it would be hard or easy to sell those individuals on your ebook? If they came across your ebook on Google or on Amazon, do you think it would be hard or easy? What do you think? Easy. They're ready to buy, says Joe. All right, Joe Cole. Easier, says Jeffrey. Easy, says Selwyn. For healthier food. That's Ken is still working on the subtitles there. That's a good one too, Ken. Easy, says Jillian. Right? Cheryl says yes. With the right title like this, it would be super easy. 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 And E is in Z. E and Z, says Bill. Easy, says Rachel. Stephen. Okay? Absolutely, folks. Absolutely. And Susie, competition is not a factor. When you do things the way that I'm showing you, I don't worry about competition because they don't know a tenth of what I'm showing you just on this webinar. Most people that publish books, they have no clue what they're doing. No offense to anyone that published, but there's a science to it that helps you to sell more books and to make more money. And you know, do you guys mind if I deviate a little bit more and just go off on a tangent about that, about the science to it? One of the other things is you'll do well with things when you have a system in place. Systems make if you notice, we have a system for everything that we're doing. Step one, step two, step three. That's how I laid out this entire course in a systematic way. Once I learned to operate in a systematic way where every time you publish something, fact or fiction, it's done in these steps. It might change just slightly, but for the most part, you're doing this, and this, what I show you in this program. All right? And it becomes a lot easier to get it done quicker. It becomes a lot easier to overcome the procrastination, right? So does that make sense? Give me a big yes so we can move on. Awesome. All right. Susie is quick. She's always one of the first. Susie, Wardell, Charles, Denise, Ken King. Ken. Good name. Stephen, Andrea. All right. Deborah, Andre, Rachel, UT, George. Everyone's saying yes. All right. So systems will be your best friend. All right. Now, we've covered secret number 1. Secret number 2. 3 ways to get your ebooks created super fast, even if you hate writing. Okay. Secret number 1. And these are in my preferred order. This is how I prefer to do this stuff, all right? You can do it in whatever way suits you best. But number 1 is get someone else to write it for you. Leverage someone else's time. Leverage someone else's expertise, right? Leverage someone else's love for the craft of writing. I use option number 1 a lot, and I've actually paid as little as $100 to $150 to have people write content for me, where you own 100% of the rights to it and you can resell the content as long and as often as you want. Heck, you can even put your own name on it or use a pen name. I don't put my name on any of the books I write. Nothing. I was actually, me and Jim was just having that conversation earlier, right before the webinar. I can't talk. I sound like Daffy Duck right now. This program gives you the only 3 sites that you should use when looking to have someone write your content. Plus, I give you the exact wording to use when you're looking for someone. All right? So, as a matter of fact, how many people are interested in outsourcing? Because if you're interested in outsourcing some of your writing, maybe I could show you a quick site that I use to outsource some of my stuff really quickly. Depending on how much. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but if you guys are interested in that, I'll deviate again from this darn thing and we'll jump out of this and do it. All right? So let's see. Sure. Let's put it this way. If you don't want to see this, put a big no. The yeses are coming in like crazy. Almost everyone wants to see it, but if you don't want to see it, put no. All right, so we got 1 no that's coming in, 2 no's. All right, so we've got 100 yeses that are coming in, 2 no's. The yeses have 1. We'll do it really quickly, all right? So let me just jump out of this really quickly. Excuse me. And I'm going to go over here. Let's go to webinar. So here's one of the sites, guru.com. Can someone put that into the questions box for me? Guru.com, all right? I'll spend like 3 seconds on this thing. One of the sites where I go to publish content, right? Or to actually not publish content, I'm sorry, to hire writers. As a matter of fact, if you see, I actually hire writers for both fact and fiction. Here's a 25-page mystery thriller story needed, a day trading report needed, romance story needed, personal development report needed, all right? Who wants to see how I structure these project listings? Which one should I go into? The mystery thriller, the day trading report, romance story, or the personal development? I only have time to go into one really quickly.
Mystery one. I've been quiet. I want to see the mystery one.
All right, let's do it. And by the way, folks, this is what my daughter publishes a crap load of mystery thrillers. This is where she makes a ton of money here. So let's see. We'll go into the posting, and you can see the prices that come into this stuff too, and a lot of this is negotiable. I never pay the price that they bid. All right, so here. I'm looking to hire someone in the US, UK, Australia, Canada, South Africa, Jamaica, or Puerto Rico. Why is that? Why do I select these countries? All right. English speaking. Bam, right? To write a mystery thriller for me to use on my blog. I don't tell them what I'm using it for. It's none of their business. I need this done ASAP. Please state how quickly you can get it done. I don't want the guy that's going to say it's going to take me 3 months, right? I want the guy that's going to say it's going to take me a week, no more than a week and a half. I'm looking for content similar to what you would find in a book title like this. So I give them an example, and then I tell them that just because I'm giving you an example of what I'm looking for, I don't want you to go in and plagiarize, right? I'm only looking for unique content, meaning nothing that you turn in should be plagiarized or stolen from other sources, especially the book that we include above. That link is only for your reference, and to give you an idea of what we're looking for, I will check. Now, I've never had someone turn and plagiarize the material, ever, and I've hired hundreds of writers over the years. I also give them a bit more detail. The story needs to be about X number of pages of high-quality, entertaining content, no fluff, no filler when bidding, so that I know that you actually took the time to read this post and are not blindly bidding. Please mention the words Jimmy Buffett, one of my favorite singers, him and Tupac. All right, total opposite ends of the spectrum there. The finished work must be written in Times New Roman, 10-point font, so very detailed. You see that? Because I don't want to leave anything up to chance. No double spacing. At the very beginning, the story must include a 1 to 2 paragraph summary of what it's about, as well as 12 to 15 bullet points. It must be a Word doc, and I will own all rights to the completed work once you're fully paid. Okay, and then I go in and I add the cherry to the top, and I say we will actually need several of these types of reports, including one on productivity. So if the quality of your work is great and your prices and turnaround time are fair, I will hire you to do more. Why do I put that at the bottom? All right, and while you guys are answering that, ladies and gents, I will jump back into this. But why do I put that I'm looking to hire someone to write the rest of these things for me as well? Let's see who gets it here. It gives the option of more work, says Susie. Absolutely. Incentive, George. They see more work potential, Deborah. A carrot, says Selwyn. You get a better job. Yes, Denise. Keeping in mind is Susan. Deborah has nothing to do. Deborah says, what does that have to do with a mystery thriller? Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Don't overcomplicate it. It's, as everyone else is saying, it gives them a carrot, the incentive of more work potential, right? They follow directions. Yes, Mary, right? Negotiate the price. Yes, Jenny. Recurring income for them, yeah, and different sort, right? All right. You establish a rapport with the writer. Yes, Jeffrey, absolutely. I like to find a good writer and work with that same person. And they, in turn, like to find someone that needs work done and work with the same person on a consistent, regular basis as well. Okay? All right. Catherine says, this is really, really awesome of you to share this info. Thank you. Thank you, Catherine. I love that. All right. Now, let's jump into option secret number 2, which is to speak it and then have it transcribed. And in the program, folks, I really go into what I just covered with you. All right. Really go into detail on all of this stuff. Obviously, I guess you can tell that I'm probably in a little bit of a rush right now because I don't want to keep you here for hours and hours and hours, right? But in the program, you get everything, all right? So I'm just giving you a quick version of it. Option number 2, speak it, then have it transcribed. Speech recognition software like Dragon Naturally Speaking, or on most PCs and Macs, you'll find like a speech recognition program that you can use as well. All right, on your PCs, it's in the lower left-hand corner. If you click search and then type in something like speech, right, just to begin with, you'll see where it should pop up. Right, on your Macs, I think it's Siri. Right, the third option is to write it yourself. Again, not my favorite. And actually, again, being totally transparent with you, I freaking failed English 101 not once, but twice in high school because I'm an overachiever. My wife hates when I tell people that. But again, we're being totally honest with each other here, right? So if I can do this, you can do this, right? Now, if you're a writer, option number 3 would be perfect for you. Heck, if you're a writer, you know, outsource some of this stuff and write it yourself. All right? So there you go. Now, and Deborah is saying on PCs, video recorder, basic Windows tools, you can do this as well. All right, so good. Thank you for that share, Deborah. All right, so secret number 3, how to publish and launch your Kindle ebooks quickly and easily and start making sales. This literally takes about 5 to 10 minutes to both create your Kindle Publishers account as well as add ebooks to it. Amazon has made it easy. They don't charge you to open up a Kindle Publishers account. All right, they make the process extremely streamlined and easy. They allow people from literally dozens and dozens of countries to be part of this system. Why would they do those things? Why would they not charge you to be part of this program, right? Ask yourself that. Why would they allow it, make it so that anyone, almost anyone in any country can publish an ebook? Why would they make the process so streamlined and easy? Jillian, you got it, baby. They make money out of selling the ebooks. It expands their book title offering, says Deborah. They make money when we make money, says Deborah. Absolutely, I like that, Deborah. All right? Deborah Gallardo, what are you looking for? She says, I don't see it. More clients, says Dennis. Because they make money, says Robin. They make it easy so that they can make money selling. Absolutely. Who remembers when Amazon first got started? What was one of their primary objectives? What was their, I'm talking about before they started selling like supplements and speakers and lawnmowers. You literally could, I bought a leaf blower from Amazon a couple of years ago. Yes, okay, to be the world's largest bookseller, says Deborah. To sell books, says Joe. Bill says to sell books. I remember when they just sold books, says Jillian. Absolutely. Right. So, and back during that period, they came up with the brilliant idea of coming up with the Kindle Direct Publishing platform. And they did so as a direct response to the competition that they had. Borders, Barnes & Nobles, right? Is it Waterstone, I think, out in the UK that I saw when I was there? And when they came up with the Kindle Direct Publishing platform, it gave them so much. All right, Waterstones, Deborah, thank you. It gave them so much more content. Digital content, literally, you don't need much storage for it, right? Think about that. So it literally put a lot of the smaller bookstores out of business, and Amazon is now the #1 bookseller of books because they came up with this brilliant idea of creating the Kindle Direct Publishing platform, and they came up with what I think is an even more brilliant idea of letting virtually anyone publish content to it, right? It's all content, Wardell, exactly. Okay, so now, reduce overhead, storage, and distribution means more profit, says Deborah. Absolutely, you got it. I love this group, love this audience, Jim. Smart, very interactive. They see it. So now, you publish it, your book is now published on Amazon.com, and it's ready to make you money, all right? This process right here I go into in detail in the program. We're not going to cover this right now because it would just take up a little bit more time than what we have. But your book is now there, and it's available not only in the U.S., but in Canada, Australia, Russia. It's in Italy. It's in Spain. It's in France, right? I literally have students and customers, right, that buy my ebooks. But I literally have students that are spread out all over the planet that are just doing well with this system, okay? Once you publish your ebook, you crank up the sales. Here's how you get more sales. You crank up the sales by going back and repeating the process and publishing more ebooks, including sequels, right? Something that both me and my daughter do very well with, sequels here. You then go back and you tweak the elements of your existing books, right? Things like titles, your price points, your descriptions, your covers, all right? If needed, you can always go back and change these elements after you launch your ebook. I'm going to share something with you again. I'm going to deviate again really quickly. Don't overcomplicate this process. You might have heard me say that to 1 or 2 individuals on this webinar. I'm not being mean. I'm not trying to be mean at all, but I'm just trying to get you to take action. If you overcomplicate the process, what happens is we become frozen. We become paralyzed, and nothing happens. Right? And you end up cheating yourself out of a potential. And even more so, you not only cheat yourself, but you cheat your family. You cheat your children, right? You cheat your significant. Right? So don't overcomplicate the process. Do this stuff. And then, because they're digital, you can always go back and amend your book or make changes to it. Or if you screwed up on something. Right? You can always go back. All right? Just execute. Most people fail because they don't execute, and it's the easiest thing to do. Most people don't put their butt in a chair and just do something. Okay, so now let me get off of my soapbox there and just get back to this thing. But again, I just want to share that with you because that has really literally put hundreds of thousands of dollars in my pocket, just being able to execute. All right, so now let's review. So here's what we covered today. Secret number 1, how to come up with a best-selling book idea in 3 minutes, even if you've never done anything like this before. Secret number 2, 3 ways to get your ebooks created super fast, even if you hate writing. Secret number 3, how to publish and launch your Kindle ebooks quickly and easily so that you can start making sales. All right? Now, is anyone starting to get excited? Like, are you starting to? I told you at the beginning of this thing that I get really excited when I talk about Amazon and Kindle publishing. All right? Jillian says, I've never heard you calling people dear before. All right? So, yeah, absolutely, right? Susie says, I'm excited. Jillian, Deborah, Deborah, Karen, Judy, Beverly, right? Susie, Jan. You see the excitement, folks. Me too, says Java. Java's even excited, all right? So, here's the thing. I get excited because not only am I seeing a ton of success with this, but so are my students, right? Like this is, again, I shared with you, this was one of my earlier deposits. Here's one of my students, Brian, a professor up at Penn State, and he says, you know, this month was his first $5,000 month. I want to thank you for all of your guidance and inspiration. My goal is set on getting to the $10,000 per month level, right? Tracy published and sold, right? Published 1 book, sold 5 copies in just a matter of 72 hours. Rocking and rolling. All right? Tracy's just killing it over. She's on the West Coast in Seattle, cat lover, right? Here's Darren DeVries, 66 years old in Perth, Australia, $20,000 a month in sales. How many ebooks do you need to do something like this, like to live the lifestyle that you want using the system that I've created, where you go in, you do the research, you structure your titles, you write out the descriptions, the price points, and the outsourcing. And in the program, I give you the actual best price points. I have actually split tested close to 60 price points over the years, right? So you get the best ones. So if you do this in the way that I show you, on average, I see where you can generate about $500 a month in sales per ebook. All right. Now imagine having 5, 10, or 20 ebooks all bringing in monthly income. Where you do the work once, your ebooks sell for months and years to come. This is truly a residual income stream where it pays you over and over and over again. So how much money do you need to make a difference in your life? Now I think we've gotten to know each other pretty well. We've been really transparent on this. So tell me, how much extra money do you need a month to make a difference in your life? Is it $500, $5,000, $1,000, $2,000? I won't call out your name. Just put that in the box, okay? So 1,000, 1,000, 6,000, 5,000, 5,000, any amount, that's cool. 500, 2,500, 15,000, 10,000, 2,000. All right, I don't care. Just need an income. 1,000 pounds, says someone. All right, awesome. Okay, so thank you for sharing that. How could this change your life? What would you do with the extra income? Put it towards your kid's future, use it to pay off your mortgage, buy a house, buy your dream car, pay off bills, get out of debt. I literally just bought my mom a house, all right, for her 77th birthday, using, all right, some of the income that comes from, or actually I should say all of it, that comes from Amazon Publishing. Would you donate to charities? The possibilities are endless. Okay, so let me ask you a question here. But for the past hour, would you agree that it's been time well spent? Give me a big yes. Would you agree that it's been time well spent? Yes, 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 yes. Someone says, I'm in London so often I should buy a flat there, says Jillian. That would be a good idea. London's real estate is insane. So obviously we can't cover everything you need in a 90-minute presentation, but I've created a special offer so that you can get everything that you need to know in one neat package in a systematic step-by-step way, just as I've shared with you on this presentation. And if you act fast enough, I'm actually going to give you a very, very special deal. This is probably one of the lowest prices that you're going to get because Jim has weaseled me into lowering the price big time. So is it okay if I help you and share? One of the things that I realized is that old habits die hard. We watch a webinar, we go to a seminar, we get excited, we get jazzed, and even the things like this that have amazing potential, everyone says it has amazing potential. Everyone is getting amazing results with it, right? So even things like this, because we're so habitual with things, we go back into our normal routine of life and we forget about those true possibilities, all right? So I don't want that to happen. So what I've done is I put together an actual home study program where you can get online access to this entire step-by-step system. This is not my personalized $20,000 program where we do everything for you plus 10% of your royalties up to $100,000. This is, like I said, it's a digital home study program that gets updated regularly. You get to actually take part in this program. You get to look over my shoulders, see what I do, why I do it, and the results that I get, right, as a result of me doing that. Part of what you'll get in this program is you'll get the setup module, which is a $997 value. If this covers setting up your account, how to get started quickly, what not to do so that you don't get banned. You'll also get the Kindling for Profits module, which is a $1,497 value. This covers how to find the right niche and readers. So niches that sell, right? These are the niches that you want to be in. You want to be in the niches where they actually sell and the readers actually will buy your content. I think that's a big problem for a lot of people is they go in and publish ebooks in niches that, you know, the readers don't buy. You'll also get the Biomagnet module, which is a $2,997 value. This module will cover all of the critical must-have elements that will make your ebook sell. We talk about covers, we talk about price points, we talk about descriptions and reviews. I know I talked about some of this stuff briefly, but I go into an immense amount of detail in this program. You'll also get the KDP Cast extraction module, which is a $3,500 value. And in this module, I give you the secret ways to use the Kindle Direct Publishing platform to make more money than most people ever will. All right. The total value of everything is $8,991. That's nowhere near what you'll pay because, as I said, Jim really loves you guys, and he's really convinced me to lower this thing down to nothing. And I've got some fast action bonuses in addition to that. The fast action bonuses are going to be for the first 10 people only. So when I give you the URL, you want to do two things. Number one, in this order, visit the URL and place your order. Number two, after you place your order and you get that confirmation screen, come back to the chat box and say, I'm in. So here, these are the fast action bonuses. Number one, you'll get the Google Kindle Crunch. This is a complete mini course in itself where, remember where I showed you how you can take your ebooks and get them listed in Google if you do certain things? Well, this mini course shows you how to do that. Right? It's the Google Kindle Crunch, and it covers how to get your ebook listed in Google. This will increase your sales big time. As a matter of fact, this is where 30% of my sales come from, just being listed in Google and people finding me there, clicking over to Amazon, and then buying my ebooks. This is a $1,997 value. You'll also get what I call the Money Multiplicity bonus, and this is a module that covers how to publish the same content that you're publishing to Amazon and then take that and publish it to the Barnes & Noble's Nook Press platform as well as the Apple iBookstore platform so that you triple your ebook's exposure. This is a $997 value here. So you'll also get, this is a super bonus here. This is a special fast action bonus. Again, you got to be one of the first 10. And you'll get your own virtual assistant, right, for 40 hours where this individual can help you with researching topics, coming up with title ideas, writing out your descriptions, communicating with your writer, or anything else that you can think of working on, including some of your other online businesses. This is actually a $600 value, and you're going to get that as well as long as you're one of those first 10. And you'll also get access to the private Facebook group. Okay, where you get to ask questions, you get to get updates, you get to share ideas, you get to brainstorm, you get to get help. Okay, there are literally, all right, 800 people, close to 800 people that are in this Facebook group. Okay, so you get to interact with people that are crushing it, that are doing tens of thousands of dollars a month, and then you also get to interact with people that are just making a couple of $100 a month, and you get to interact with people that are like yourself that are just starting off. You're never left alone. I said when I put together this thing, I want to make it so that just as I answered your questions here, and just as I will answer all of your questions at the end of this webinar, right, you are never left alone. If you have a question, I don't care if what you think might be a silly question or a novice question, you get to ask it in this group and get help. Okay, so our support is amazing. All right, now it's one of the best support systems that you'll find on the internet, people say. Now, I had two choices. The first was to go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible, and it wouldn't incentivize me to really stack the value on. But for this event only, again, because Jim really needled me down on this, I went really inexpensive. The second option, which requires a little higher investment, but in exchange I'm able to devote more resources to guarantee your success. And if you got to the point where, like my student Darren DeVry, you're making $20,000 a month, would it make sense to pay $5,000 for something like this? Now, you're not going to pay even a fraction of that. You're not going to even pay 10% of that, right? But if you did, every sale after that month would be pure profit, right? And again, remember, only the first 10 people will get all of the fast action bonuses. So I'm going to give you the URL right now. Type it in fast so that you are one of them. Once you get your order in, come back to this questions box and put I'm in. All right, so with everything that you get coupled, plus the earnings potential, you can see why this program is a good deal at $5,000. Normally it's sold for $2,000 for the general public, but because you're at this event, you can get in right now for just $4.97. $4.97. Again, you want to go in, be one of those first 10 so that you get all of those fast action bonuses. All right. That URL is 30dayprofits.com. I will put that into the chat box here. All right. It's 30-day. And I had someone ask me once, Ty, I'm clicking onto the screen and it's not working. You can't click onto the screen. You have to actually type that URL that I have on the screen, or that I just put into the questions box. You can click onto the URL that I just put into the questions box. All right, and Jim just put it in as well. Thank you, Jim. All right, so now I want to have a Q&A session. I want to answer some questions. We have a ton. We literally have hundreds of people that are still on. Right. Again, go in, put your order in. Once you get confirmation, come back to the questions box and put I'm in here. We've got people that are saying I'm in already. Okay. Amazing. Jim is in. All right, and this is not Jim Edwards. This is Jim Fwitz. We've got a few people that are in. Awesome. Okay. So listen, even if you have no money here, folks, we have an option on the order page that you'll see. As a matter of fact, let me go over to the order page where you can pay using PayPal credit. All right. You can pay using PayPal credit. So when you go to 30dayprofits.com, this is what the page will look like. You'll see that you can get in for $4.97. And again, this is a discount. Before that, after this, the price is going to go back. You'll see a timer on here, so you want to get your order in before that timer goes out. And if you want to be one of the first 10, you want to get your order in immediately. But here, this is where you'll go if you want to use your Visa, your MasterCard, your American Express, or your Discover. Just click on this button here. If you want to pay with PayPal, right? If you have PayPal funds, click on this button. If you want to apply for PayPal credit, which is pretty neat, because even if you don't have money right now, PayPal has this awesome buy now, pay later feature, where if you're in the U.S., this is for U.S. viewers only, you can go in, you can click this button and apply for PayPal credit. The only thing is when you make your payment, make sure that the funding source is going to be PayPal credit. You'll see what I mean when you get to the PayPal order form, all right? Once they approve your credit, you'll see what I mean. All right, so there's a video of that I have here too if you want instructions on how to go in and apply for PayPal credit. It literally takes about 2 minutes. Very, very quick process there. All right, so now let's continue here. We've got some more I'm ins coming in. All right. Brad is in. We've got Joe in. We've got Andrea is in. The IMs are coming in. Here's a testimonial from one of my students. This is Darren DeVry. First testimonial he ever sent me. He says, Ty, this has been my best month so far with 258 sales to date with only 3 titles. I'm very happy with the progress considering my circumstances. He went through like a bankruptcy, the recession, right, that had hit us. And he says, I just wanted to say thank you again. I can see the end of the tunnel, right? I asked him if I could use this testimonial. He wrote me back the next day, 24 hours later. He says, of course you can use it. I'm now up to 336 sales as we speak. I'm happy with that. I was hoping for 200 sales this month, so I'm really happy. I'm going to try for 1,000 sales a month starting next month. Thank you, Ty. Right? Perth, Australia, 66 years old. He's now doing $20,000 per month and killing it. Right? Now, if all this did was finally allow you to generate a consistent hands-free passive income stream every month, would it be worth it? Think about that. Answer that, honestly. If all this did was to give you the kick in the butt to finally get you moving and making money, would it be worth it? Remember, we talked about momentum and execution, right? This is our biggest problem sometimes is execution. So if this allowed you to execute, would it be worth it? If all this did was give you 2 to 3 ebooks that each brought in $500 per month to pay a bill or save, would it be worth it? All right? So get in now by going to 30dayprofits.com. I will put that URL into the questions box again. Okay. Here we go. Lots of people that are coming in right now. The IMs are in here. right? If you're still trying to get in, let me know. All right, Gail says, I'm in with PayPal credit. Great, Gail, good to have you in. All right, let's see. And here's everything that you'll get here. You will get the setup, a $9.97 value, setting up your account, how to get started quickly, what not to do so that you don't get banned. You'll also get the Kindling for Profits module, which is a $1,497 value. Finding the right niches and readers is what we'll cover in this module, and I'll show you how to find niches that sell and readers that buy. You'll also get the Buyer Magnet module, which is a $2,997 value. And this will cover the critical must-have elements that will make your ebook sell. We'll talk about things like covers, how to properly price your ebook, how to write out your description so that people buy and they're drawn in. We'll talk about how to get reviews legitimately, right? You'll also get the KDP Cast Extraction module, which is a $3,500 value. And in this module, we'll cover secret ways to use the Kindle Direct Publishing platform to make more money than most people ever will, simply because they don't have access to what you have access. This is a $8,991 value. You'll also get those fast action bonuses, and I think we've already maxed out at 10. So if Jim is okay with it, I'm going to open up another 10. Let's make another 10 available for people. Well, first let's see who wants to get in. Jenny says she's working on it. Dr. Fred's in. This person's in. Let's see. All right, so let's do this. Let's open up, and this is going to be the last time here. We'll open up another 10. So if you're not in already, you still have a chance to get in. You'll get fast action bonus number 1, which is the Google Kindle Crunch. This covers getting your ebook listed in Google, and will increase your sales big time. This is where 30% of my sales come from. It's a $1,997 value. You'll also get the Money Multiplicity module, which covers how to publish the same content that you're publishing on Amazon to Barnes & Noble's, the Nook Press platform that they have, and the Apple iBookstore platform, right, so that you triple your ebook exposure. This is a $9.97 value. You'll also get your own virtual assistant, and this individual can help you with researching topics, coming up with title ideas, writing out descriptions, communicating with your writer, or anything else that you can think of, including working in some of your own businesses, right? You'll get this individual for 40 hours. So this is pretty cool. This in itself right here is awesome. People say that this is the best thing ever because it really helps them to get running, it helps them to get up and going, and it helps them to scale their business as well, right? Because you have that help. You'll also get access to our private Facebook group where you get to ask questions, you get to get updates on new findings, right? I'm always testing things. I'm always split testing things. I'm always working the system, so you get immediate updates. You get to share ideas with other people. You get to brainstorm ideas. You get to get help. So you get to get opinions, and you get to say, well, here's my cover. What do you guys think about it? Or what would you do better? Here's my ebook. How do you think it reads? Right? You get to just really be around a group of successful individuals. And I think one of the quickest ways to become and see success is to align yourself with successful individuals. So again, that URL is 30dayprofits.com. You have that PayPal pay credit option. I think I saw Rhonda or Deborah who said they used that just now. You could also pay with your Visa, your MasterCard, your American Express, or your Discover. Now at this point you have two choices. All right, the first is to do nothing and not take this leap of faith. The second is to pony up this small, tiny investment today compared to all of the value that you'll receive in return and just give it a shot. All right, so two options: do nothing and kick yourself for not getting in. This is truly the lowest price that you're going to see. I'll be honest with you here. When you see this the next time, if you see it, it's going to be at least, at a minimum, double this price. All right? So my crazy guarantee on top of that is, there's 3 parts to this guarantee, is research. If you can't find a hot topic to create your first ebook around, I will personally help you to get started. The second part to this guarantee is outsourcing. If you can't find someone to write your ebook for you, I will give you access to one of my best writers who will write your first ebook for under $150. This is someone who has written dozens of ebooks for me. Sales. If after 60 days you're not making at least $500 per ebook, I will have one of my top coaches jump on a call with you to help kickstart your sales. So we cover all objections, no matter what trick your mind is playing on you right now, saying, maybe Ty can do this, maybe Jim can do it, but I can't do it. Maybe I don't know how to research. Well, we cover that in the guarantee. If you can't find a topic to publish, I'll personally help you to get started. Outsourcing. If you don't know how to do that, even after watching the videos, I'll give you access to one of my best writers. Sales. If after 60 days you're not making at least $500 per ebook, I will have one of my top coaches jump on the call with you to help kickstart your sales. You cannot go wrong with this, right? And on this, right, with other opportunities, it can take 3 to 5 years to get your initial investment back. With something like this, you get 5 times that back with the first couple of ebooks that you successfully publish following this system, right? Listen, folks, this works. It's something that I've used forever. It's something that we still have the I ams coming in. I'm not ignoring you if you put I'm in to the questions box. Just continue to do so, all right? That's awesome. Great. We got a lot of great questions too. Ask your questions too, folks, because I'm going to answer some questions here as well. Lane is in. All right. I'm not ignoring you if you typed in I am. I do see that. Here's a tale of two people, folks. We've got Timid Tommy. This used to be me before I started seeing success. I met Jim at a seminar. I think it was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, like 13 years ago or so. And I was very, very skeptical. I was very pessimistic. I was pretty timid about everything. And I always thought, man, this guy, they can do it. These gurus can do it. This person can do it. I always gave more people more credit than I gave myself. And because of that, I saw very little success. Timid Tommy, or Timid Tammy, if you want to give him a female persona, right, is the individual that, they're always doubtful of something, no matter how well it works for everyone else. They're always doubtful. Don't be that individual. Be Brave Bob, who we have over here on the right side. Brave Bob is the person who, he seems like, he can't fail at anything. Everything seems to work for this guy because he believes in it, and he gives himself that edge. He gives himself a chance. He at least tries. He puts in that effort, all right? So you can be the Timid Tommy or Tammy, or you could be the Brave Bob or Betty. All right, get in now at 30-Day Profits. Let's go in and answer some questions really quickly here. I'll leave this screen up here for you. It shows everything that you'll get.
I want to add something to this, Ty, and one of the things that when you were going through this in the first secret, when you were talking about those title enhancers,
right,
I was screaming, this needs to be a wizard. I mean, everybody on here should be familiar with my wizards, and both the online and the offline wizards. And so what I'm going to do, and this isn't done yet, so you need to listen very carefully to what I'm about to say, okay? I am going to go through Ty's course. I'm going to go through, I'm sure you have a section on there about title enhancers and titling your book, and I'm going to create a wizard exclusively for you guys who take advantage of this offer. It's going to be only for you guys unless Ty begs me and says, wow, this is really cool. Could you make this available to all my other students? And I'm going to put together a wizard where all you have to do is just put in a couple, 3, 4 variables, and it will make titles for you using all of his title enhancers. And I'm also going to cajole him to get on the phone with me, and I'm going to pick his brain on how he does titles and other stuff like that. And we're going to come up with an amazing Kindle book title wizard that that's just going to blow you guys away. The second thing I'm going to do for those of you who are interested in outsourcing, which I can tell you, I mean, I've outsourced a lot of different Kindle books, and it's a great way of doing it, especially once you've got your cash flow going and you're just like, I'm going to plow this back in, and it's like buying lots in a subdivision, And so, well, unless you've been a real estate investor, you would know, but anyway, What I'm also going to do is I'm going to create a wizard to make it super easy for you to outsource your writing projects. So all you'll have to do is fill out a form, and then it will spit out, according to the way Tide teaches you to outsource, it'll spit out something that you just copy and paste right over into guru.com and the other places where you order up your stuff. So I'm going to make those two for you. Now, here's the reality. Today's Wednesday. I'm leaving on a trip for a week on Friday, so I will not start work on this until the week I get back. So it's going to be a couple, 3 weeks before I'm able to put this together for you, but I will do it, and that'll give you time to go through Ty's course. But it's going to be amazing, and you guys have seen my wizards before, and this is going to make this even easier for you to be able to put this into action. So I'm going to do that, and this is for everybody who buys the course through through me on this, obviously. But anyway, I'm going to throw those two in. I don't know what $1 value I might put on them, but by golly, I charge $500 an hour. And I'm going to estimate it's going to take me at least 10 or 15 hours to put this set of wizards together. So, what's that, a $7,500 value? So I'm putting those out there. So it'll be 2 wizards. One, it'll be a Kindle book title wizard based on Ty's formulas and how he teaches you to create amazing titles. And then we'll also make one to help you just create copy and paste outsourcing job templates super, super fast. So I'm going to take care of that for you guys. But it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks before I can deliver it. Does that sound cool?
That's awesome, Jim. I like that. Those are actually, bonuses that fit with Fizz very, very well, and it makes the entire process a lot easier, as if it wasn't easy already, but even more so easy. Nice. I mean, so are you limiting that, or is that for everyone that gets on, that gets in right now? I know we're going to be closing this thing out soon. So everyone that gets in before we close it out, or how are you handling it?
Yeah, it's for everybody who gets in before we close this out. I'm not going to limit it to 10 people or whatever, but just everybody. You got to buy through this offer through Ty and me, because everybody who's here is my customers. So
awesome.
This is for my peeps.
That is awesome. That's it, folks. That is awesome. So let's go in and answer some questions really quickly. Jim, do you want to pull out the questions, or do you want me to grab them?
Okay.
How about
Sorry.
we'll take about 7 questions or so. Do you want to just randomly pick them out?
Okay, let me ask you. I'm going to put this one. I'm not meaning to put you on the spot, but I've known the person that asked this question for a long time. I'm not convinced this is going to help me. I need to know how to apply your method to write fiction. So far, it just feels like it's all geared towards nonfiction. Now, is everything that you're talking about in teaching, does this all work for fiction and nonfiction?
Yes, it's both fiction and nonfiction. Actually, I publish both myself, and do pretty well with both of them. Normally, in the webinar, I do cover both to a degree, but because we were limited on time with this one, I didn't. In the program, I go over both fact and fiction and how to publish, and not only how to publish, but also how to structure your books the right way. And if you're going to outsource it, how do you do that the proper way? If you're going to write it yourself, how to properly do that. So yes, you can use it for both.
Okay. I'm going to paraphrase because I'm not on the exact question, but somebody basically asks, I'm confused and a little skeptical. How am I going to make $1,000 a month? Oh, here it is. I don't quite understand how you could make even $1,000 a month on a $299 ebook, even if you have it on 3 different platforms. Please help me understand.
On a $2.99 ebook.
$2.99 ebook,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Well, here's the thing. You got to look at the scope of Amazon, right? Alone, Amazon has over 500 million credit card numbers on file. They have over 500 million credit card numbers on file. And you just get a fraction of those people to be able to buy, and it makes it easier. So you're selling quantity here. That's what this is, right? It's quantity. think about the number. Here's what you can do. There's a site called SimilarWeb, SimilarWeb, right? .com. Go there and type in Amazon.com and see how many people visit their site a month, and I think you'll be blown away by that.
Yeah, Amazon has 294 million registered users worldwide, and they have over 192 million unique visitors every month.
So there you go.
Not if you were interested in the stats or not. I mean, I know the stats about it. So I mean, it's like more than the adult population of the United States goes to Amazon every single month with credit card in hand to buy stuff.
Isn't that insane? And I was just reading something the other day. I can't remember if I was reading it or if I was watching television, but the average person has multiple credit cards on file with them. Like I have 2 business cards. I've got 2 of my own personal cards. My wife has a personal card. So the average person has 3 credit cards on file with Amazon, which is insane.
This is a good question. Ron asks, explain why 45,000 or 450,000 or 45 million searches is no good. Seems like the more the merrier, in that this many searches means more likely to be found. So why the 10 to 100 range?
Great question, Ron. And it's just the opposite. So the more searches, the more likely you are to be buried, right? Because the more competition. So when you have those lower numbers, there's also in turn, usually, not always it doesn't work out that way, but in most cases, there's usually less competition, right? So that's it as well.
Okay.
And those numbers work very well, between at 10,000 to 100,000. I see Yvonne has a great question here that some people may be asking. She says, does this work on Amazon.ca, which is the Canadian version of the Amazon site? And yes, the answer is absolutely yes. Yvonne, what happens is when you publish your content on Amazon, the US site, or wherever you're publishing, right, they make it available. It's optional. You can make it available on all of the other international versions of your site.
Yep. So, excuse me. Somebody asked, will the wizards that Jim's going to make, are those going to be free? They're for everybody. They're for everybody who buys, takes advantage of Ty's offer, and they'll be delivered. They'll be online wizards. They'll be available on my site, and you'll get access to them. So no problem. We'll hook you up. No worries. I will get a list of everybody that buys from Ty, and we will make sure that you get them, and they will be awesome.
Awesome. Awesome. So, and Karen, I just sent you, I just replied to you. Some of you guys I'm replying to behind the scenes here as we talk about this stuff.
And the link you buy from is 30dayprofits.com. That's where you go.
Correct. That's it. Now, here's the thing, folks. Look at this. I'm going to show you something really quickly just so that you know. This is what this course normally sells for. I mistakenly left this slide in here. I'm just seeing this now. But Jim and I, we talked right before the webinar, and we said, you know what, let's give these folks a ton of value because you are his prized subscribers, and let's give them a price point that just makes sense. This is your early Christmas gift here, right? So it's not just, you know, fluff that I was spitting at you earlier where I said that you would more than likely pay double if you purchased at a later time. This is what this normally sells for, $9.97 or 2 payments of $5.49. Right, so you are getting it at a bargain right now. Now, I'm always interested in this, especially with this discounted price. Why haven't you signed up if you have not yet? Can you put that into the questions box really quickly here? I guess we'll take about another 5 minutes or so on a webinar. We have been on this thing for an hour and a half, 90 minutes it seems like. Is that right? Hour and a half, yeah. So Susie says, don't have the funds. Andrew says, strap for cash. Well, if that's the case, Susie and Andrew, you can always go in and still use that PayPal credit option. You don't need any money right now. PayPal will make the payment for you now. You'll get access to the program today, and you don't pay them back for 6 months. So you can, you know, apply this and then use those funds to pay it back. All right. Let's see. So Reason number one, you don't think that you can come up with ebook ideas that'll sell. If that's the case, I do have my crazy 3-part guarantee where I will help you with that, okay? Reason number two, you're nervous about putting it all in place. If that's the case, it's very, very easy. The entire program is step by step, very systematic, right? So you're shown this is what you do now, here's what you do next, here's what you do next. Reason number three, you think it's too expensive. Again, this is the lowest that I've ever made this available, and it would be even more expensive not to get in on it right now. So again, that URL is 30dayprofits.com. Do you have anything else that's coming in? Oh, if you live outside of the U.S. and you think maybe you can't publish to Amazon because you live outside of the U.S., you can. All right, I have students who are actually in Russia, that are in Germany, that are in France, that are literally everywhere, Canada, Australia. So you can do this if you're outside of the U.S. All right. English is not your first language. I have a few students that are doing that as well, who are actually publishing in languages outside of English. Okay, so you can publish in Spanish if you want. You can publish in some of the other languages as well. So do we have anything else that's coming in as far as questions, Jim?
People keep asking about the Google, how to access the Google keyword tool, but you show how to do that in the course, right? I mean, basically you do a search for Google Keyword Planner and it'll show up in Google. I mean, that's how I find it.
Correct. That's it. So you go to Google and you type in Google Keyword Planner.
This is a good question. Will Amazon allow you to put up PLR, private label rights ebooks? Is this about private label rights or anything? Or this
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm glad someone brought that up. Remember earlier I said where you want to build this business on the concrete and not on the sand? And by that I mean publish high quality content, publish no private label rights material, publish no master resale rights material. And if you're not familiar with those terms, private label rights material means basically resale rights to a degree that you've purchased from someone else who has already written or gained rights to an ebook, and then you take that and you publish it to Amazon. Everything that you publish to Amazon should be 100% unique. All right, either you wrote it or you paid someone to write it. Nothing else. Amazon hates the PLR stuff. So, Yvonne, I am sending you a message as well. So, check your box there, your questions box. Is Google Keyword Planner the same as AdWords? Can someone just send?
I just looked up the URL and sent it to her.
Okay, perfect. Gotcha.
So George asks a really great question, and I often wonder this about stuff too. How long does it take to go through the course, hours per day, total time before a student is ready to publish? That's a great question.
So that's a very good question, George. So here's the thing. You could go through, and it's going to be different for everyone because the course is online. You could go through it in about 6 or 7 hours, right? Now, that might take you a weekend to get through those 6 or 7 hours, depending on what's going on with your private life, right? It might take you a week. It might take you a day. You might be able to breeze through that. It might take you half a day. As far as getting your book written and published, if you're outsourcing it, usually I see a return from my outsourcers of 7 to 10 days. They'll get me a book back. Usually, sometimes it's faster than that, but I like to pad it a bit and say 7 to 10 days. If you're writing the book yourself, that's obviously going to depend on how quickly you write. And publishing it, once you make it available on Amazon, is usually that 48 to 72 hours. I like to tell people 72-hour review period where they review your book before they make it live. All right, so factor that in, the time for you to go through the course, the time for you to put the ebook together, whether you're writing it yourself or outsourcing it, and then your 72-hour review period.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
All right, so Uh, Anyone else that has not, we've got a lot of people that are in, anyone else that has not signed up yet, and if you have not, tell me the reason why. Maybe you've never sold anything online or you're new to all of this. If that's the case, if you've never sold anything online and if you're a total newbie to online marketing, Amazon publishing, anything, right? Business related. This is the perfect place to start because you're not left alone. You're partnering with Amazon. Amazon is a multi-billion-dollar company. They have the structure in place already, and more importantly, they have the customer base, and even more important than that, they have customers that literally go to their site with no more than the intention of making a purchase. Think about it. When you go to Amazon, is there any doubt that you're going there to, we might be doing some research or we might be considering buying something. I'm considering buying a turkey fryer right now. I know I'm going to buy one, right? But it's just a matter of when and which kind. And I'm going to hit Amazon after this webinar probably and go in and buy one. So you have people that have money. They're spending money. Reason number 8, you don't have enough money. Again, we talked about using PayPal credit. I know a lot of people here have used PayPal credit to get in on this program. So good to have you aboard. What else is there if you have not gotten in? I have a couple of reviews here, but I know that we're going long on this thing, so I think I'm going to skip the reviews. This is Sabina. She's one of my students who's in Germany. She's made it to $1,000 a month her first month with body makeover ebooks. That's her niche there. Steve Schreier, $390 his first month publishing paddle surfing related ebooks. Here's another gentleman, young lady, I should say, Valerie Pope here, just under $2,000, selling homeschool transcripts. So all of these folks are doing well. They started just where you're at, and they're rocking and rolling right now. So, what do you have to lose?
Somebody asked, in this training, do you cover how to become an Amazon #1 bestseller in this training?
No, we don't cover that because there's so much. So here's the thing. I cover money, how to make sales, how to get your book published, and how to make you money. Right? That bestseller status doesn't always translate into money. So I cover how to make the most profit the fastest. Right? I was listening to Gary Halbert, and you can thank the late great Gary Halbert for any of you who are into copywriting, right? I was listening to an audio maybe about 10 years ago with him on it. And he said, this was after he passed it, he said, he's got this thing, him and John Carlton, and it's called Operation Money Suck, and that is how can they make the most money the quickest. So I put this system together with that in mind. How can you generate the most amount of money quickly and in a recurring manner?
Gotcha.
So I don't know if that covers the question or not, but it gave me a chance to talk about one of my favorite people, Gary Halbert.
There you go. That's how you make mucho fungolas.
There you go. How do you spell his name? Karen says Gary Halbert. All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, cool. Well, just to reiterate, you guys all of you that are jumping on board are going to get access to the 2 custom wizards that I'm going to create to go along with Ty's course. They're going to be online wizards, so you'll be able to use them through your web browser or on your cell phone. They won't be downloadable. They'll be available in a couple, 3 weeks because I'm leaving on Friday to go on vacation for a week, so I'll start working on them when I get back. But it'll be amazing, and it'll make this easy process even easier. So that's what I would say.
Awesome.
And I would just tell everybody and some people say, how's this different from this person's program or other program or what you do, Jim? I'll tell you guys my opinion, my perspective on this whole thing. Ty is not a writer. Ty is not about writing. He is about creating a business around Kindle by creating a whole bunch of books that he has other people, and stop me if I'm wrong, okay? Ty, seriously, I mean, I'm not,
No,
if you feel like I'm
you're on the
saying
right
this wrong.
track. Go ahead.
He has other people write the books for him at a reasonable price that they're happy to write them, and he can profitably publish them because he focuses on titling them right, creating good descriptions, getting proper covers, and doing it in volume. That's how you do this business. And that's a way that you build the recurring income, because it's not about having one book. A lot of people have this thought that, hey, I'm going to write one book and I'm going to get rich. And I only know of one person who's ever written one book and was able to support herself for the rest of her life, and it was the lady Harper Lee, who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird. She lived a lifetime off of one book. Nobody else does that. And so what this is about is creating a whole bunch of little pipelines that pay you. And if one of them craps out, if something happens, you've got so many others, it doesn't matter. And so it's diversifying across a number of books. It's creating a business. Now, if you are a writer and you love to write, that's great. More power to you. There are a lot of people who turn out a ton of books. But just because you love to write doesn't mean you're going to make any money with your books. I've seen this for the last 20 years. There's a term called best-selling writer. And what that means is that the writer who sells the best makes the most money. So even if you love to write, whether you love to write fiction, nonfiction, or you love to do both, if you don't learn how to sell on Kindle, if you want to sell on Kindle, you got to learn how to sell on Kindle and do it the right way. So no matter who you are and where you fit, this course will help you if you want to do this as a business, because that's what Ty is all about. Doing it as a business, not as a hobby, not as hey, I'd like to mess around with it. I've known the guy now for 13 years, and he's always been about figuring out how to do it as a business. Back when he was doing that Advantage program, and it was a business, and was hauling 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 packages to the mail every day. Now he doesn't have to do that, and he's making more money because he's figured out the systematic business approach to doing this with Kindle. So if that's what you're looking for, somebody who's doing that business model, this is the guide to learn from for that business model. And at this price, $497, it's a no-brainer to be able to do that. And I'm going to throw in a couple real cool bonuses, so you got nothing to lose. How was that?
That was an awesome summary there. I like that.
Cool.
I think I just need to record that. I watch the recording, record that, and that's the entire presentation, and we're good to go.
There you go.
Hey, Jim, I had a ball. Listen, Karen and Catherine and Dominique and everyone else that's on this thing, we had Yvonne, and we had, Jillian and George, and just a ton of great people. I had a really good time with you, and I look forward to seeing you in the members area. I look forward to seeing you in the Facebook group. Maybe we'll get Jim over there as well. And this was awesome. This was awesome. If you're not in yet, if you're like me, my wife does not give me the permission to buy many things without her, and vice versa, right? So we always consult each other. If you have a significant, if you have, your wife, your husband, if you have a business partner that you need to talk to first before you go in and buy this thing, do yourself a favor. Write down the URL, 30dayprofits.com, so that you don't forget it. Write it down, put it in front of your computer so that you have it, and you can talk to that person later on today, and then you can get in.
Awesome.
All right.
Well, thanks for being here, Ty, and I thank everybody for being on the training, getting a lot of positive feedback, and definitely appreciate you guys being here, and appreciate you teaching us, Ty. People really enjoyed it, learned some great stuff. Appreciate it. Everybody have a great day. Take advantage of the offer, and we'll take care of it.
And Jim, one last thing. I'm going to leave this slide up for about 5 minutes here. All right, so that way, usually I find that people will go in and buy afterwards. They need to think about it. And one last thing that I want to ask of you, folks. We are recording this, so we hopefully will have a replay. Please leave your feedback. What did you think of this webinar right now? If you can go in and type that in. I see Catherine, and I got that idea. Catherine just says, I've been on quite a few webinars lately. Again, this was a good one, so thanks, and yes, I wrote it down. So leave me your feedback. Leave it for Jim. What did you think about this webinar? Did you like it? And I would appreciate your positive comments. Let's keep it positive. There we go. Have a great day.